right, Brian McMahon. He's like in Northeast Philly, right past like Feasterville, Trevo. So he's done work for him in the past, aeration. Scope of work for today is going to be some light bush trimming, mulch install, and then landscape stone install potentially. See what he accepts. I'll update the notes. So starting in the front. So what I'll say too, first and foremost, guy seems cool dude. He just seems very like he keeps up on everything, so he's probably going to be very noticing any details, how edging is, weeding. He likes things tight, and he'll probably notice. So just like put your craftsmanship level up a notch and just be mindful of attention to detail, weeding, edging. Try to do a real good job for him. Hook him up because he'll probably notice. He notices a lot of little things at the property. You'll just tell from his property. He keeps it tight. So anyway, starting up front. So some of the pruning that we'll do, you cut this guy. It's basically like very light pruning of some boxwoods. This one shrub over here, a little more dramatic of a cutback, and then some of these tall grasses, just kind of cutting them down. So you can cut this guy down. Your beds are in pretty good shape as of right now. This is early March. I can see some weeds starting to pop up, but for the most part, it's not too bad. So the prep shouldn't be terrible. Definitely could use a decent edge recut everywhere. He's got in spots a pretty good one, but just really try to reestablish it. Shovel, string trimmer, your attachment edger, whatever you want to do, but try to just dial it up a little bit. So you got the front here. I wouldn't worry about trimming this guy. I'll leave him alone. There's some leaves and stuff in some random spots. You got a little bit in the beds here, got a little bit down here. We try to get them out of the well windows. Rake out some of that old mulch. Got some mulch. It's looking a little like white and moldy and dried out, so just freshen that up. Trimming of these two guys, so I would cut them back. You can kind of tell where it's like thin. I would say a good 4 feet of these off these guys. You basically want to bring it down. You'll see where it's thick. We don't want to cut that far back, but like I would say a little bit above where it's thicker. Then you'll see it gets skinnier and skinnier. Give it a little bit of maybe a foot or two, and then cut from there. Chop all that off. This should sprout back pretty good, but all this is basically deadhead at this point. So yeah, so like roughly chopping here, that kind of deal. And you can always check with him too, just so he knows our intention. If he is here, hey, we're gonna chop it about right here. So just to make sure he's good with it. Clean up these beds here, not too bad. Got some edging here. I wouldn't prune any of these. They're too small. I wouldn't worry about them, but rake the beds out a little bit, some fresh mulch, edge it. You got a bed up here, a little bit of edging on the flip side of it. There's a small bed, but pruning wise, I would just lightly prune this guy. The rest I would let it be. Break out the beds a little bit. This guy you could probably actually take a string trimmer and just lightly like clean it up, just so it's not overflowing outside of the rock retaining wall. Got some weeds and stuff there. Edge this out, mulch it. You got that. Nothing around the mailbox, and then you got beds over here around like his patio. So all these boxwoods, I would give them, these ones give them a really light prune. These ones you can prune a little bit more. Run them along there. These grassies you can cut back. Bed prep. Edge looks pretty good over here, but just dial it up a little bit for him. This guy we just cut like kind of off of his patio. These red bud plants, so they are starting to like bud a little bit, you can see. So I don't want to cut these and then they don't like bloom this year. So but what we will do is cut, just because they're getting kind of crazy, maybe cut a little bit here so it's not getting into the yard too much. This one you can cut a little bit so it's not like encroaching on the boxwoods or anything. But mostly the backside, just kind of trim some of this up. It's like starting to get onto his patio, so just kind of cut that back, and maybe some of the straggler pieces that are like really long and kind of like abnormally sticking out, like that one and the other one over there, you could cut those. And then bed prep in here, got some weeds in this area. He did talk about edge over here, said he really wants to try to get the edge better here, but he knows he might need to bring this soil up a little bit to get a deep edge, but just do your best you can with it. Edge it. lightly prune. This one I probably wouldn't prune. It looks like it's struggling a little bit. Or if you want to do a very light touch on it is fine. And then the other one's light touch. And then lastly, this area, not gonna mulch it. He wants this mulch out, and then we're gonna do 1 inch, 3 inch river jack stone in here. So I think he said there's not fabric in here. Yeah, I don't see any fabric. So you could prune all these guys, get rid of all the mulch, put down some weed barrier fabric. It's 20 foot by 2.5 foot. You'll have to try to do your best to get the fabric down and like cut it around the plants and pin it down. And then 1 inch, 3 inch river jack in this area. He said like it doesn't get sun. He's got like some moss growing in here. So, and that's it.